welcome back to my channel. My name is April if you're new here, and today I get to talk to you about my top 10 books of 2024. I was gonna do a separate Romantasy top 10 books. However, a lot of the books I want to talk to you about on that list are going to be on this one as well. So why double it up? Let's just make one video, one list, and let's get right into it. I ranked all these books, so coming in at number 10 is Halloween. I have just absolutely fell in love with Holly Wilde this year. From The Deviled Egg Made Me Do It to SPF Me, and then also Halloween. This book is about two girls who have some very fun Halloween shenanigans. It's very punny with a lot of pumpkin gourd puns. And then also you have a man made of candy who she calls Man Candy. Both stories do intersect, so it's not like two stories in one. They both are kind of the same story, but there's definitely like a stopping point, and then you like jump to the other girl and then they converge at the end. This is just a ride. This is a ride. It's on this list because Holly Wilde continues to just make me laugh the entire time I read her books. And when I read a book that just not only makes me smile the entire time, but makes me laugh so hard my face hurts, it's a great book. It's a top book. This is no exception. This is my favorite Holly Wilde of the year. I'm going to be reading her consistently more and more coming in 2025. There's definitely a Christmas book or two that I want to read. However, this Halloween one takes the cake. Coming in at number 9 is Lights Out. I resisted reading this book for so long because it is contemporary. However, the audiobook is fantastic and I definitely enjoyed my time reading it. This book is about kind of like a golden retriever stalker who falls in love with an ER nurse. They have this really fantastic banter going back and forth, and he is honestly the sweetest person ever, but he is a stalker. Which is really fantastic. He's also one of these masked men thirst trap guys who does videos for Instagram. That's how they meet. She is obsessed with his videos. And she's also the ex-girlfriend of Josh's roommate. Josh is just absolutely obsessed with her. He keeps tabs on her everywhere she goes because he's a hacker and he's a tech wizard, and it's a lot. There's also a lot of shenanigans at the end of this, but the entire time this romance between these two, this relationship between the two is nothing but fun. It's banter. They're very quippy with each other. Like, you can tell they're just absolute soulmates because when he dishes it out, she just dishes it right back, and it's just a really fun read. I absolutely loved it. These are the type of books that make me like contemporary romance. So yeah, I'm really glad I read this year. And then at number 8, we have Rust Colored Rain, which is a zombie apocalypse book. I absolutely love zombies. I love zombie video games. I love zombie movies. I haven't read a zombie book that I liked until I read this book. So thank you, Jenny, for making me read this book. She didn't make me read this book. She asked me to read this book, and I said, hell yes, I will read that. This book is everything I love about zombies. It's fast-paced. There is a lot going on. It's action after action after action, scene after scene after scene. This is all just very kind of normal zombie stuff. However, it's wrapped in this beautiful zombie package for, if you like zombies, read this book. Also, there's this underlying kind of marriage and trouble type situation behind it. For most of this book, the married couple is separated and they're trying to find each other together, trying to get back home so they can kind of survive what the hell is going on outside. And I loved every bit of it. I'm going to continue on with the series. It is also a short book, so it's under 300 pages, which I love. I love when that happens. Yeah, this was just a fun read for me, and it's not a romance, so when I'm in the mood for a non-romance, I know I'm gonna be picking this up. Number 7 is Full Speed to a Crash Landing by Beth Revis. Honestly, I could put both books in this series on this list this year because I read them both and I gave them both 5 stars. They are just everything I want from a sci-fi adventure romance. You have a girl who is a little bit untrusting. She's crashed her ship. She's running out of oxygen. There is another ship nearby who will not rescue her. She's getting very pissed because she's about to die. The reason they're not rescuing her is because they don't trust her. There's another thing going on nearby that they're trying to investigate and get more information on. And she is literally just, it's because of her. They shouldn't trust her. This entire series is kind of a game of cat and mouse. There's a lot of he knows I know he knows type of stuff going on. There is a very there is a romance in here, but I'm gonna say it's not super steamy. In fact, at the end of the book, you get a kiss. You get a kiss, but it's a good kiss, okay? It's a good one. This again is just a very fast-paced, quick-witted, bantery type of book. And I absolutely loved it. The second book deals with a heist. So these are just fantastic. There's going to be a third one coming out that I can't wait for. So I have absolutely just loved this series this entire year and I'm so glad I read it. Also, the audiobooks are really good. So definitely check out the audiobooks if you can. At number 6 is the lone historical romance on this list. And I'm putting the Mistress Experience on this list. Talk about a main character who I just absolutely fell in love with. You have a guy who basically buys a notorious prostitute. Okay, she's a notorious sex worker. She's the best in the land and he is going to have to get married soon. And so he buys her for lessons in seduction, basically. Thais, I still don't know how to say her name. So if anybody knows, please say it in the comments below because I'm still unsure how to say her name. She's the main character in this and she is absolutely a character. She is definitely the loud mouth, doesn't hold back, says whatever she wants type of character and he eats it up. They form a very sweet kind of friendship together before they get very romantically involved. I love this book. It's a fantastic historical romance with an absolutely gorgeous cover. If you don't read historical romance, I definitely think you should check out a book like this. I mean, it is just a really fun time. It's really romantic and it's a beautiful story. And number 5, I want to talk about Grave Matter by Karina Halley. Karina Halley has just become one of my favorite authors. I feel like she can do everything, okay? She can do contemporary romance. She can do fantasy romance. And with this one, she can do kind of thriller horror type romance. This is a really good one. It's about a girl who gets a very prestigious opportunity to go research these mushrooms in the Pacific Northwest. This is set on a creepy, eerie island in the Pacific Northwest. Think like Vancouver Island type stuff because that was the inspiration for this book, a lot of it. And it's at this university and she starts a forbidden relationship with her teacher. She's an adult, don't worry, she's college age. And weird things start happening around this island. And specifically weird things start happening to her. And I don't want to say much more than that because it is creepy, it is eerie, it is hot. It's very hot, very spicy book, but honestly not as spicy as some of her other books have been, but I love this. Also, this has ADHD representation. There are a couple quotes in here that when I read them, I was like, that's my son. That is exactly what it is. Like, it was very, very, very well done representation. I know Karina herself is dealing with her own ADHD, and I think she does this extremely, extremely well. So I absolutely loved this book. There are such big, memorable moments in it that are not only sexy, but also the twists and turns at the end. You will absolutely love this. And then at number 4, Glow of the Everflame. Spark of the Everflame was great. Glow was amazing. Glow was amazing because Luther Corbois, that's not how I say his name. Luther Corbois. I don't know if that's how you say his name. He is the book boyfriend to end all book boyfriends. Like, this is what a man should be. This is what you want out of your fantasy men. And I really love the story of this too. This is a highly political fantasy romance. You have a girl who's kind of caught between joining a rebellion or helping out the people that they're rebelling against. And she's a healer, so she really doesn't want to do harm to anybody, but she's kind of caught between. It's definitely like a little bit of a love triangle situation, especially in the first book, but there's a lot of action to it. There's fantastical creatures. And again, there is the most perfect man in the world, Luther. So how can you not love this? It's just a really good book. I have read the first 3. I can't wait to finish it off with Crystal. We're definitely going to be reading it at some point whenever it comes out. And yeah, it's one of my highly anticipated endings of a series, which is really strong for me because I never finish series ever, but I want to finish this one for sure as soon as I can. And then at number 3, it was so hard to pick my top 3. Like, honestly, I kept going back and forth between all of them. So just know that these are very close contenders of each other. But at number 3, I'm putting That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human because I absolutely cannot stop talking about this book. This was my favorite of the series. It is a 3rd book. You're following Cherry, who is kidnapped by a dragon who is very, very sad. And then you have another dragon shifter, Dante, who comes in to rescue her. But when he comes in to rescue her, he sniffs her out and he's like, that's my mate. That's my mate. I'm gonna take you wherever you need to go. I will fight this dragon for you. However, Cherry doesn't know that. Cherry's like, I'm gonna drug this dragon. I'm gonna drug this other dragon dude and convince him to take me with him and get me out of this place. She doesn't need to do that. He's all in from the start. And then it's just one shenanigan after another with this. There is some incredibly stupid but hilarious moments, like she's never seen snow before. She is that girl who's never seen snow before, and it terrifies her. And it is just a fantastically hilarious book. I love Kimberly Lemming. I think her humor is exactly the type of humor that I love, and I will read anything by her. Her next book is kind of like a sci-fi adventure rom-com. I cannot wait to read it. Like, I am so excited to read it. I absolutely love everything she does. This is my favorite of the series. It's a 3rd book. You definitely can't read this book without reading the other 2. I mean, you could, but I think you definitely should read the other 2 just so you know what's happening and who the other characters that Dante and Cherry interact with are. But just know that this one's my favorite. This is my absolute favorite and I love it. As you can see, it's one of those books that puts a smile on my face and I never stop smiling about it. That's when you know it's a good one. And at number 2 is Quicksilver. I think Callie Hart has took us all by storm here if you were a fantasy romance reader. And it deserves everything. It deserves all the hype. It's definitely one of those books that it's amazing. Most people like it. Not everybody, because it's not always going to be everybody's jam, but most people like it. And it's for good reason. You have a thief in the beginning. She steals a wrong thing from the wrong person and goes to the queen. She's gonna die, but of course at the last minute, she opens a portal to another land and out pops this broody, moody dude who rescues her and calls her pathetic. Because she's dying. And it's great. They have to team up and they have this magical bond together that they're forced into. She's got to forge these magical weapons for him so he can go back and kill that queen or whatever. Listen, The thing about this book is the banter. The banter is A plus. These two just annoy the crap out of each other. They're not really enemies, but they're more like reluctant allies in a way for me. But it's just good. There's also like a fox companion that is so adorable, and I just love when that happens. I love when there's an animal companion that is just like almost takes over the whole book for you. The fox does that. Okay, the fox does that. But also the heroine and the hero here, very good, strong characters. This also, to me, has the potential for many other books, with it being kind of a multiverse situation going on with these portals. And I just think it's a fantastic book. It was so fun to read. It was a long book, but at the same time, I couldn't stop reading it, and even the slow parts were like not slow to me. They were important, but they were so enjoyable to read. Definitely was very hard not to put this in the #1 slot, but it's definitely a favorite, and I cannot wait to meet Callie Hart next year in February. And a book that I can't stop talking about and recommending everywhere because I think it is criminally underrated is The Scattered Bones. This book absolutely took me by surprise this year. I didn't expect to like it because it's friends to lovers. It is friends to lovers, and it's angsty and it's heartbreaking. I don't like those things. I just don't. I don't like to read those things. Y'all know I like to read for fun. This book wasn't fun, but it was devastating in an enjoyable way. This book is a standalone fantasy romance that's under 300 pages, so not a lot of time is on it, but I think it feels like a full-fledged novel. And you are dropped immediately into this world with her absolutely crawling in this devastating like desert landscape. She's almost dies multiple times. Why she's here? Because her dead lover's body parts were strewn across the realm by an evil goddess. And a stranger says that if she can find those body parts, he will put her dead lover back together again. That is the gist of the story. A lot of things happen on why he got torn apart, but it's part of the story and I don't want to tell you. I think I have before, but it's look, guys, this is a really beautiful fantasy romance. It is a really beautiful and devastating fantasy romance. And I know that doesn't sound fun to read, but trust me, it is. And I think it's a book that you should read. Again, it's a friends to lovers story of tragedy. And then this really beautiful HEA in the end. And it's under 300 pages. I cannot stop raving about this, particularly because it took me by surprise. I think everybody needs to read this. It's fantastic. Definitely the top of this book because A, it's a very unique premise. B, it gave me everything I want in a small package. And C, it just made me feel so much. I just loved it. Anyways, those are my top 10 books of the year. I had a fantastic reading year and I cannot wait to read more in 2025. Let me know what your top book of the year was in 2024 in the comments below. As always, thank you for joining me and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!